and welcome to the 97th episode in our AI and You podcast series. Today is Saturday, December 10th, 2022, and I'm your host, Vicar Saidi. I'm a computer scientist and engineer, a lecturer, and a consultant. I'm also the author of several books. My most recent book is about artificial intelligence and is titled The Genome Affair. The Genome Affair is a speculative work. It examines what the world might be like if some of the more extraordinary capabilities forecast to be realized in AI over the next 20 to 30 years were actually realized today. Given the growing list of frightening existential threats humankind now faces, the book pays particular attention to the impact AI is expected to have on world affairs. The book is available in ebook format for those who prefer to read on a digital device, but it's also available in a high-quality paperback edition. The Genome Affair is available on Amazon, so I hope you'll take the time to read it and to leave a review. Amazon book reviews are very helpful for writers. I'm very interested in how science and technology influence world affairs and the big questions facing humankind. Studying at the confluence of the great disciplines of human history, political science and thought, international affairs, science and technology offers a deep understanding and pedagogically important lessons of how advances in human endeavor have influenced and impacted civilization. I'm available to give talks on artificial intelligence and its related technologies and on the impact AI is expected to have or is already having on our world. If you'd like to get in touch with me to arrange a web-based event or consulting meeting with your company or organization, you can find my contact info in the podcast notes below. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share it with others if you find the content valuable. Thank you. And now on to today's podcast. In our last podcast, episode 96, I spoke about sustaining democracy in the age of AI. These are the remarks from a recent symposium I participated in at Elmhurst University. In today's podcast, episode 97, I'll speak about evolution and revolution in human intelligence. Let's get started. Following the appearance of our earliest known ancestors on Earth about 7 million years ago, hominin intelligence has passed through two major stages of development. Nearly 2 million years ago, our intelligence was first impacted by our adaptation of fire. Then, about 70,000 years ago, sapiens underwent a cognitive revolution, most likely a genetic mutation, which bestowed upon us the extraordinary and unprecedented attribute that enables us to cooperate with one another flexibly and at very large scale. But today, we now stand on the precipice of the third and perhaps final stage of unprecedented intellectual advancement. Humankind's intelligence is nearly ready to be augmented by artificial intelligence on the altar of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Archaeologists and others in the scientific community estimate that Homo erectus, an early hominin species, first learned to control fire approximately 1.5 to 2 million years ago. These archaic humans acquired the ability to start and control fires, and they then used this ability to illuminate the inside of caves, where they may have sheltered from cold weather or storms for extended periods of time. They may also have used fire to ward off dangerous predators, since these early hominins were in fact quite vulnerable to the strength and hunting prowess of other species of terrestrial megafauna, the other large land animals over 100 pounds. But the most profound use of fire by early hominins was for cooking. They learned to prepare their meals over fire, and in so doing, they unwittingly changed the biochemistry of the things they ate. In terms of energy and time, cooked food is much less costly to digest, since the calories required for the digestive process is dramatically reduced. Today, the species of great apes genetically closest to humans are the chimpanzees and bonobos. We share about 98% of our human genome with them. However, sapiens remain the only species in the animal kingdom who cook their food, and it has had a revolutionary impact on our intelligence. When observing chimpanzees in their native environment, they can often seem overweight. Their abdomens appear distended, and thus we might be misled into thinking they are carrying a considerable amount of fat. In fact, chimpanzees have only about 10% body fat. The distended abdomen is actually the result of a large and extensive gastrointestinal tract that is required to digest the raw food they consume. Sapiens, by comparison, have a much shorter gastrointestinal tract since we cook food, and this enables us to digest and absorb nutrients very quickly, whilst simultaneously expending relatively little energy. Over millions of years, this abundance of excess energy has led to the evolution of the human brain. We have developed much larger brains than all other species, and our brains have a remarkable processing capacity that is currently enabled by about 85 billion neurons. This has resulted in a much higher level of hominin intelligence vis-a-vis all other species in the animal kingdom. But the human brain at rest consumes about 23% of our ingested calories, and as such, it's a very expensive organ to operate when compared to the brain of a chimpanzee. At rest, bonobo or chimp brains consume just 6% of ingested calories. Further, the high operating cost of the human brain does seem to affect our ability and perhaps psychological willingness to engage in activities that require rational thought, such as critical thinking or reading, since doing so demands further significant caloric consumption. This phenomenon can be observed in the United States, where, despite having the largest and highest quality university system in the world, only about 35% of Americans are willing to submit themselves to earn a university degree. The rate is in fact very similar in Western Europe, despite financial barriers being considerably lower there than in the United States. Thus, America's companies and other institutions that need educated workers turn to immigrants from around the world to address the local deficit in university-educated workers. Perhaps the large caloric demand required when engaging the prefrontal cortex in rational activity, a non-negotiable requirement in university programs, without the desirable benefit of releasing pleasure hormones including dopamine, endorphins, oxytocin, and serotonin that occur when dining out with friends, playing or watching sports, shopping for new clothes, perfumes, or shoes, watching action films or romantic films, or other similarly enjoyable activities, prevents many young adults from pursuing university degrees. But as we develop artificial intelligence, and then use it to augment human intelligence through neural implants that enable us to rapidly engage with the internet and other sources of knowledge, learning and knowledge acquisition will become much less expensive vis-a-vis the expenditure of calories. Then it may become possible for a much larger percentage of the population in developed nations to acquire university education. From the extensive university network, cultural barriers notwithstanding, this could dramatically curtail the demand for educated foreign workers. But this outcome can, of course, lead to speciation, the bifurcation of humankind into new hominin species, with some now having superior intellectual capacity, augmented by AI, alongside those who lack access to this facility. Those around the world lacking access will be like the inferior hominins of the past, such as the Denisovans and Neanderthalensis, that were at least in part made extinct due to their inability to intellectually compete with sapiens. Perhaps this ancient history of some 40,000 years ago will repeat itself in the not-too-distant future. Individuals in rich societies, with access to knowledge and intellect, enhancing AI from the Fourth Industrial Revolution, will cause individuals in developing nations to potentially face extinction. Thank you for spending some time with me. I'm trying to follow the TED Talk format, and so I'm keeping these podcasts under 20 minutes. Let me know what you think. I hope you'll find these insights into artificial intelligence helpful, and I hope you'll read my new book, The Genome Affair. It's on Amazon. Until next time, then, this has been the AI and You podcast with author Vicar Saidi.